Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
I'm Kathy Beaton. I work at the Rochester Institute of Technology. And as Liz mentioned at the beginning of the symposium, I'm deaf. I have been pretty much since birth. I've had a progressive hearing loss, which really makes me adore technology because it enables me to participate fully in society, kind of fully. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is the fact that in my teaching, I really try and involve all of my students in the classroom through the use of technology, and it's coming back to haunt me in a very odd way. I'd like to share with you a quote that kind of summarizes my dilemma. While Professor Adams lectures, 5 students use an online chat room to post comments on his lecture, on classroom stragglers, and on the meaning of his discussion questions. Another student spends nearly 2/3 of the 3-hour class playing computer chess, instant messaging, and viewing photos of a fraternity party posted on the web. Meanwhile, a 23-year-old buys a pair of sneakers on eBay. Eileen Coppola wrote a book about technology and teaching, saying that the dilemma is that there's so much power and no one really has a clue how to use it. Students are protesting that the ability to use mobile computing in the classroom is their right, that it's not a distraction, that they function perfectly fine. In the same breath, they say, yes, I'm listening, and I'm also surfing and chatting to my friends. It's really causing a problem for me because I think that using mobile technology in the classroom levels the educational playing field for students with all disabilities, not just deaf or hard of hearing students. I have students who have social disorders that don't allow them to verbally communicate clearly or eloquently, and yet when I move that communication online, they shine. The goal of technology is to allow us, people with disabilities, to become invisible in the sense that we fit in this room and no one knows that we have any sort of a barrier. Coppola also suggests that educators and policymakers are agreeing that new technologies should be used, but in a way that mimics the real world. And the real world is crucial for me because that's where I want to be, not a virtual online disability community world, but a place where I can function and shine. The technology in the classroom that I had been using was, of course, the tablet PC, and it has been kind of disastrous thus far in that the temporarily able-bodied, the tabs, which I'll call them so I don't have to keep saying temporarily able-bodied and use up by 7 minutes. The tabs are off in another little world, not really participating in the back channel chatter appropriately. They're doing kind of what we do here, making little jokes and asides, which is all fine and lovely, but the learning isn't really happening. So I'm finding that when we empower the students in the classroom, and I'm talking undergraduate, first, second, third year students, they don't have the ability to assume the responsibility for their own learning, and we end up imposing these barriers. So if we're using mobile technology in the classroom, is that our responsibility to make the students behave in a certain way, or do we give the freedom that enables the disability community to perform, but not the able-bodied community? People with disabilities have seized technology, as I do with my implant, as a means of creating access. We seized ICQ before it was ever popular in the tab world because it was character by character. And I could participate online in a real world way because I could see what you're starting to say. I could interrupt you. I could see you eat back your words as you deleted what you thought you wanted to say and decided, no, that's too risque. I don't really want to say that. After ICQ caught on, it changed. And it became these glorious little thought balloons where I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for you to say something, and poof, there it is. And it isn't real world anymore. Video blogging was the same way. I have friends in Europe that used it to use sign language to communicate on their websites. And we use the technology that exists in a way to benefit ourselves. And then the hearing community caught on, and people started adopting that as well. And it's not a complaint. It's a great thing. The complaint comes in when the technology changes and it's no longer accessible to us, which kind of sucks. 1 minute. The things that I would like to consider are, should we be using the social tools in the academic environments as something that's provided with strict rules and structure, or should we just allow the use of the tools and let the learning chips fall where they may, allow students to accept responsibility for their learning or not learning? And at what point do we get over the hump of creating the accessibility and embracing it for the benefit of many and not just the few, meaning accessibility in the classroom through tablet PCs or allowing students to use their cell phones to communicate back and forth benefits the few disabled students, but it seems to not benefit the many able-bodied. Food for thought. Thanks.